This is pretty much the worst video ever made.
Welcome back to Milton Daily Homes. Chuck here. We got a list of I think 15 properties today, and we start off. Actually, before we do, let me just let you know that we have the Milton buyer class coming up on Saturday at 12:30. So we've even moved the time back a bit later. Last year in 2012, and even up to that point, it was always 10 a.m. So we're gonna do 12:30 this Saturday. Details are just on that site there. Start off 59 Dawson Crescent, and you wonder if the effect of having green grass and sun shining, especially when weather's like this in the middle of winter, if it makes people feel like if it's been listed for a long time. I don't know. To the best of my knowledge, it hasn't been listed in the last 6 months. So it's a very interesting thing. Do people believe that this home's been listed longer than it has? Bronte Street's right beside, which is preferable to the other side of Dawson, which at least in my eyes is train tracks and is a little less desirable. Although people who live close to train tracks have heard over and over, they've said that it really, you don't even notice them after a while. I don't know, I've never lived there, I can't tell you in person. I did grow up in Etobicoke, so I know that the sound of planes I didn't really notice that after a while. So anyways, very skinny, narrow home, not tremendously big, but they've done some nice work. They've done some custom light fixtures. It looks like the mantle's been done, the hardwood floors, so it's nice, and it's certainly the cheapest home without condo fees out there right now. Now, I wonder if it makes sense to buy this one compared to getting a bigger, more functional floor plan for maybe $340, $350. I mean, we even look over on Hamilton Crescent. There was a home about the same size as this one with a little bit more open floor plan and a finished basement, and it was newer, and it sold for like $335 or something. So I don't know. I think it's probably a good price. I don't know if I jump over the deal, but they are going to get activity just based on the price point for sure. McJanet here, 336.9, and it looks like it's a Brent Grove end, which is just under 1,300 square feet, hardwood floors, California shutter, granite counter with the undermount sink, stainless steel. Got your molding up top there. It's a nice listing. It's the only model that you've really got an eat-in kitchen. And they've got it all set up well. This one's going to fly. There's actually been worse models last year that sold for around this price or even higher. So they might surprise and actually sell for more than asking. These models, I think, are due for an upkick. And so we've got 189 Bronte at 359.5. It's our listing. It's on a 62 by 118 foot lot. Big piece of property. And comparative value, what else are you getting for this? You're getting a townhouse. I'll show you the next one just to compare. A detached home. It's a little bit older, but it's got a good floor plan, big eat-in kitchen here, and everything's been painted. The floors have been done, the roof, the windows, the furnace has been put in. I mean, it's got. You could pretty much move in and not have a whole lot of work to do, unless you didn't like these tiles or something like that. But it's a neutral home, and that's the laundry on the main floor, and I think it's got a great layout. You could put a double car garage on this lot. I mean, it's got just a lot of space to put that stuff. So 359.5, I think is a great price. You're close to the bus route. Could walk to La Rose, all kinds of good stuff like that. Cost again, $5,000 more than that one. Townhouse, very long and narrow, very bowling alley-ish, and you got a 6-story building right behind you, which I wouldn't say is ideal. No, they do have some pretty good upgrades inside, the countertop and so on, but you just have the kitchen with an eat-in and then one long room that you can only put a couch one way. It doesn't give you a lot of options. And so what we start to see is a little bit further up in the list, we see stuff like this. On Barclay, 1,380 square feet, a little bit smaller than the previous one, but far more functional. You've got a dining room, plus you've got a family room and a kitchen because now you've got a wider floor plan. This is a Mattamy built home, and upgraded flooring upstairs, plus a finished basement here. And I would say all in all, it looks like a pretty good deal. With the finished basement, it might be a little high, but I have a feeling that these ones are on the upkick too. Porterway is the same model as the previous one. It's called a Croftside end unit with all brick, and $392 is the price, and it's a very fascinating home. Looks like they've got a couple pot lights against this feature wall here. potentially with the door to the garage. That's what that looks like there. Lighter floors, I think it does work well. You have to be careful with light floors because too dark and too light can be very trendy, but I think that it all fits together really well on this floor. So fascinating to me why they do parquet floor. I mean, that typically makes a home look more dated. Wood toilet seats make homes look more dated, but you've got this modern feature of all the tiles on the wall. So it is a very fascinating home. I think a lot of the success of this one is going to be how it looks in person. You've got the louvers here, which means you can keep them open and have a little bit more breeze going through. You can close them off for privacy, and it is a very interesting home. Typically in the past, in a couple months, we've seen them sell for a bit less than that, but we've also seen some pretty good sales too. So Laurier is at $399, 35 by 120. It's a link home, so it's probably linked by the garage, by the foundation over on this side here. It looks a little far on this side to be linked, but it really is functionally a very detached type of home. There's a little kid photobombing this shot, and we've got the fireplace, which is a nice thing, but it actually cuts off this wall as a space where you can put stuff. So you're pretty much stuck to the way that they've set up the furniture here. And you can see that you've got the kitchen that's right at the end. So those two chairs, and it goes right into the kitchen. And it looks like there's a third room, so it almost looks like it goes straight through along the back. And I mean, there's a jacket on the ottoman. There's some stuff there that I go, come on, like you could probably do a little better. But there's mirrors, and this one's a really tough one to pin. I'm not sure. Generally, what I've seen is if homes are around 400 for this style of home, they're usually a little bit more upgraded, modern, some really nice finishes on them, but they're not that far off. And what we look at too with things like that is when's the furnace done, when's the AC, is the roof or the windows, what's happening with all that kind of stuff. So Duncan Lane 429, it's a Jasper 12, and it's 3 bedrooms. That little breakfast bar can come in really handy, but that's tight. Those chairs, you'd be elbow to elbow with your neighbor if you were actually both there at the breakfast bar. You can see pretty good sized rooms and finished basement, and then you've got a wider lot. That's really what they're banking on. But 429, it's still a townhouse facing train tracks. So historically, I've seen the sale evidence that proves that they're not that far off. I don't know. I just think there's better options, especially look at some things like this. Different style of home, but the next one will give you a good sense of what else you can get for that money. Thomas, right across from the fairgrounds. Semi-detached, and I wonder if somebody just came in and offered to buy the neighbor out and buy the whole building for $900,000. But it's a 50 by 132 foot property. You can see that you've got the exposed brick here. Now that's structural. The new homes have a wood structure. That's what holds. That's what supports the home. In this generation of homes, it was the brick that took the weight of and the support of the home. So I love the look of it, though. I love the light fixture. They've got some upgrades in the kitchen. This one's probably going to hit pretty hard. Nice high ceilings here. You've got some upgraded, not upgraded floors. You've just got some really cool floors there. And I'm not sure how that relates. That almost looks like a pool or a pond or something like that. Is that part of this property? Is it another property? Is that the boundary? I'm not sure. It doesn't look like there's a garage here, but it definitely looks like a very fascinating home. $434, what do you get for that price? I think that I would take this home any day over just a run-of-the-mill semi that we see all the time. $450 is a good price comparison point. This is about a 16 or 1700 square foot home, hardwood floors, nice looking kitchen here. Big layout between the kitchen and the family room, nice and open. If you like an open concept home, this is a good floor plan. You can Google Mattamy Honeysuckle to see the floor plans on this one. But the other thing I want to mention is the price straddle. We haven't talked about that in a lot of episodes on Daily Homes. 450,000, what it does is now you're the first listing in the 450 to 475 range, and you're also the last listing from 425 to 450. So versus being 449, 999, which you're only in one range, this one straddles 2 different price ranges. I think I was one of the first people to actually sort of come out with that and start talking about it. But it makes a lot of sense. Typically, most people think 449 sounds like less, but 324.9. Anyone who does that 374.9, I think they're really hurting themselves compared to putting a round number where you get the benefit of double price range. So Farlow Crescent is 469. I can't remember the model of this one here, but it's about 1,600 square feet, and the kitchen looks a little bit more narrow. You do have the finished basement. I'd rather take that Honeysuckle at 450, newer home. Now, obviously, it's a different location. I'd rather put 20 in the basement and probably end up with a home that would have more resale appeal. Leargate is 544.9. It's only about just over 2,000 square feet. It's got a nice floor plan, nice finishes, moldings everywhere. Typically for this price point, we're looking at homes that are a couple hundred square feet bigger, still with those upgrades. There's not a lot listed right now. I think that they're probably going to sit for a little bit at that price, though. Costigan is $594. I don't know what the square footage is. It's got an open entrance, upgraded counters. Not bad photos. Actually, the general photo quality for today's episode is better than it usually is. I think they've done a nice job with the landscaping. It doesn't take a lot there, but a little bit of landscaping goes a long way. And I need to know the size to really give you a good feedback on that one. Drysdale is a Shining Willow. I think we had one a couple weeks ago. Usually there's only one or two a year that actually come out for sale. The garage is over on this side, which does a couple things. It changes the lot orientation, so you really have this thing. They call it a King's Courtyard. It's 21 by 24. It's a smaller area than most backyards, even in the new subdivisions. It's smaller, but it's private because you don't have a neighbor looking on you. You've got a higher fence, and then you also have yard plus road, and you're a pretty far distance from any other home. So smaller, but it's private, and then you've got a loft above the garage. So total finished square feet is 2824. Generally, what I found is that these compare pretty well with similar sized homes in terms of the price point, but it just takes a very specific buyer to buy them. So inside, it's got a nice kitchen, basic flooring. They've got some California shutters here. Upgrades look decent. There's your King's Courtyard right there. And I would say overall it's one of those things where you can buy a 24 square foot home with those finishes, maybe not this style of floor plan, for less than this. So they might be a little bit high, but again, they're not that far off. Under 650 is definitely the place they want to be. Holmes Crescent is 689, and we don't have a lot of information. There's no photos yet on it. Apparently it has granite, hardwood. It's got heated floors throughout the main and upper floors. Nice thing. Probably not cheap on the energy bills. Motion sensors, and they're even saying negotiable furniture. $120,000. That's a lot of money for furniture. But I guess the couch. I mean, I've seen them for $5,000, but boy, oh boy. Maybe you get a TV and a couch out of that deal, and that is the list. So hard to say without seeing that one how it really what it looks like or how the value is. Seems a little bit high for that size of home, but I have seen nice versions sell for that. And the one on Homes with the pie-shaped lot backing onto green space at $799. It's this size of home. Just recently got an offer on it, so that's pretty cool. But anyways, join us for a buyer class. Come and meet us in person. We'd love to help you out. Get your daily search started. Something a little more specific compared to Milton Daily Homes. Meet us at Starbucks. Lots of ways we can help you. Have a great day. We'll see you tomorrow.
This is pretty much the worst video ever made.